At some point, things stopped working. Not suddenly, quietly. Effort stopped producing results. Advice stopped helping. Motivation stopped moving anything. You didn't get lazy, you didn't get stupid, but nothing responds anymore. You push, and the system doesn't push back. And that's the most dangerous phase, because when nothing works, people stop trusting themselves. This isn't burnout. It's not a lack of discipline. And it's not because you lost your drive. Most people who feel this are doing more than ever. More work, more learning, more trying to improve. But the environment changed, and no one told you. So you're using tools that no longer function inside the system you're in. Here's the part no one explains. The behaviors that once created progress have been absorbed. Hard work used to create leverage. Now it creates replacement. Consistency used to compound. Now it just maintains position. Patience used to buy opportunity. Now it just delays exit. The system didn't remove success. It diluted it. So you keep doing the right things and nothing moves. Not because they're wrong, because they're no longer scarce. Effort only works when power is unevenly distributed. But modern systems flatten effort and centralize leverage. You're rewarded for showing up, not for changing outcomes. So effort feels real, but impact disappears. That's why working harder doesn't feel empowering anymore. It feels heavy, because effort without leverage is just energy extraction. Then the noise starts. Advice everywhere, motivation everywhere, strategies everywhere. Everyone has a method. Everyone has a framework. Everyone is teaching. But when signals overload, the brain doesn't act. It freezes. You don't move forward, you consume. Learning replaces action. Preparation replaces risk. Understanding replaces change. And slowly, you start confusing information with progress. Now look around. Everyone is doing something, posting, grinding, talking about growth. So when you stall, you assume it's personal. You don't see systems, you see people ahead of you. Comparison becomes surveillance. Status becomes pressure. Visibility replaces reality. You don't ask, is this working? You ask, why isn't it working for me? That question alone keeps you trapped. Here's what happens next. You try. Nothing changes. You adjust. Nothing changes. You persist. Nothing changes. Eventually, your brain stops expecting cause and effect. Not consciously, biologically. This isn't weakness, it's adaptation. When effort stops producing reward, the nervous system pulls back. Hope becomes expensive. Risk feels irrational. Movement slows. This is how people don't quit, they downshift. Now the system finishes the job. You start doubting your judgment, second-guessing decisions, waiting longer before acting. You become careful, reasonable, safe. Not because you chose to, but because repeated failure trained you to hesitate. At this stage, the system doesn't need to block you. You regulate yourself. This is why goals feel fake, why motivation feels hollow, why success stories don't land. You're not uninspired, you're misaligned with a system that rewards visibility over value, obedience over outcomes, and endurance over escape. So nothing resonates, nothing excites, nothing sticks, because deep down, you sense the mismatch. This is the dangerous part. When nothing works long enough, people don't rebel. They adapt downward, smaller dreams, lower expectations, safer loops. They call it maturity, stability, realism. But it's not wisdom, it's containment. The people who escape don't suddenly become disciplined. They don't find better motivation. They notice something others don't, about power, about leverage, about what actually moves systems. And once you see it, using broken tools inside a rigged environment becomes impossible to ignore. Most people never look long enough to realize why nothing works. And that's why nothing ever changes.